In this video, you will learn the Willow Tree Waltz, the very last song in the Piano Adventures 3A lesson book. Today we are in Piano Adventures Level 3A. We are in the lesson book and we are flipping to the back of the book. We are on the very last song, which is Willow Tree Waltz. You will find it on pages 62 and 63. A quick little new term for us as we begin today is right up here. Poco is an Italian word that means little. Poco ritardando, therefore, means to slow down a little. We already know ritardando. We've been playing ritardando for a long time. It means to slow down gradually. So when we add the word poco or little before it, it means that we're slowing down just a little bit, instead of a big ritardando. So now let's look at this song to see the key guiding points before we begin. So first thing that I notice is the name for the song is Waltz. Anytime you hear a song that is waltz, you know that it is going to be in threes. So time signatures that might apply would be 3/4, 3/8, or 6/8, something that has that 3-beat fill. We see right here that the time signature is 3/4, so we're going to be working with a quarter note as a beat here and 3 beats per measure. We also see that there are 2 sharps in the key signature. Whenever there's 2 sharps, those sharps are F sharp and C sharp, and the key is D. So we know that we are going to be playing in the key of D major, which would go right there. I also see that I have a treble clef for my right hand, a bass clef for my left hand. I see tempo markings that this should sound like it is flowing. And when I get so that I am playing at full speed, it should be between 132 and 160 beats per quarter note. So those are the basics. One more thing I want to look at is the structure. So we play the first line here, we come over, or the first page, we come over to the second page, and then we get to this double bar line right here where it says DC Al Coda. And that means that we're going to go back to the beginning until we see the coda sign right here. Once we see that coda sign, we go to the coda on the next page. Because Willow Tree Waltz is a big undertaking, we are going to learn this section by section. You will first learn section 1 with this video, and then I want you to stop your learning and go master section 1, which might take you a couple of days. Then come back to this video to learn section 2, repeat the mastery process, then the coda, repeat the mastery process. Once you have all of those sections under your belt and mastered, please work on mastering the piece as a whole. I've included your mastery checkpoint questions for you to check off as you go. The first section of the song is the first 4 lines here, and that is where we are going to begin. If I look here, I see that my 4th finger should be on A for my right hand, and my thumb for my left hand should be on B. So the very first thing I'm going to do is get my hand situated in the right place. So I have my 4th finger for my right hand on A, my 1st finger on B. I am in the right place. Now, beginning, it goes A, B, A, F sharp, D, B, A. So that's the motif for this song. We're going to hear it over and over again. So let's play it together. One more time. Good. Now when we play that A, our pedal's going to go down. And we're going to play a D major arpeggio. So we need that F sharp. Under. Then we play B and pedal goes up and down again. Back to A. We go back to the main motif. Now we're going to be on C sharp. B, A, motif again, D major, that's the motif up higher, back to where it goes, okay, so that was a lot, but let's try to play it together. We're going to go a little bit slow to start so that we have time to think about what we're doing. The first thing we need to do is get our hands set, and 1, 2, 3. D major, B, D major, A, diminuendo there, motif, pedal down, C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, motif, D major, motif up here, G major, motif back in the original spot, C sharp, that was pretty good. If you need to pause and work on the notes, you can. I would like to look a little bit at the other markings for this section. So we know that we have a mezzo piano here, so that's how we're starting. We crescendo and diminuendo, so that's a phrase there. Crescendo, diminuendo again. We come in here mezzo forte, so that's when the motif moves up and is translated higher. So that's where it's going to increase in volume. And then we have that poco ritardando here. So we're going to get a little bit slower and diminuendo at the end. So we're going to try playing this one more time, focusing on all of those markings. 1, 2, 3. To look at the second section of the song, which goes from measure 17 to measure 32. So I'm starting in measure 17, and both of my hands need to be based on D for this to start. So this is D just above middle C, and this is 1 octave below. Now, interestingly, the song is transitioning into D minor here. So for now, we're going to have F B natural. We start with the left hand, and it starts mezzo forte, but it also is going to crescendo here. Now this note is tenuto and it's forte, but these inside notes should be quieter, just like lunar eclipse and backup singers. Now these staccatos get quieter as they go. We're going to grow again here. Up to E. You'll notice that I'm playing the A and G both with my thumb. That's how I like to play it when I'm stretched out with that. You can use your 1 and 2 if you want. So that's the whole section. One thing that I will say is that the pedaling starting in measure 18 here is actually pretty complicated. Every time you play a right hand note, you need to go up, down really quick, but not to exclude that sound that's coming out. So it does take some technique to get that pedaling right. Let's try playing that section together slowly. 1, 2, 3. So looking at the dynamic markings to make sure that we are playing that correctly. In the beginning of the section, it has a tempo, which means here we had poco ritardando. So we've gotten a little bit slower and we pick up back at our normal tempo here. It starts at mezzo forte with a crescendo, forte. Remember that these inside notes should not be as loud. And then here we diminuendo. We need to make sure we observe these few staccato markings as well, because they're very impactful, because everything else around it is very connected. Here we crescendo again. These are tenutos again, so they should be very loud. The inside note should not be loud. And then we should still be loud as we play this descending scale. The diminuendo comes in here to the piano. Okay, we are looking at the coda now, which starts in measure 33. So for the coda, we're going up pretty high. This is middle C right here. We are not going to this A, not this A. We're going to this A. So we are 2.5 octaves above middle C, and that's where it starts. What we do is with the right hand, we play A, B, A, F sharp, D. Then the left hand plays B, A. That should sound familiar to you as the motif that we've been playing the whole time. We're just really high now. Now, when you do that, you start it right here. So then you're going to start with B, A, F, D, B, A. You will notice that the A is left out, the beginning A. So as we're moving down, we're just going to be playing the B there. Let's start up here again. So A, B, A, F, D, B, A, B, A, F, D, B, A, B, A, F, D, B, A. I'm going to have you play that descent with me. Right now I'm playing it loudly. It is supposed to be mezzo piano. We're also supposed to have a pedal down that connects it. We're just not quite to doing that yet. Right now we're working on the fingering. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Good. Let's look at what happens next. So that got us to measure 36. In measure 36, we hold that for one beat. Then we're going to climb up. A, B, D, F sharp, A. Then, after we hold that for 3 beats, we're going to be moving down further on the piano. I'm going to move the camera so that you can see that. With the camera down a little bit, you won't be able to see what I'm doing as I start the descent, but I want you to hear how this should work. A, B, D, F. 1, 2, 3. And this note should be like a little bit louder. So we've gotten quieter, but this note's very impactful right here. It's nice and warm. So right hand C sharp, G, left hand is A, just as far the other way from middle C as we were at the beginning. And then you move to this D here, F sharp, A, D. And the left hand comes over and plays F sharp, D. So that's the very last note is that D. The markings that are intended. So it's supposed to start with mezzo piano, and you can see there's these nice legato slurs. It should all sound very pretty and connected here. We're also going to hold the pedal down so it doesn't have any up down until right there. So mezzo piano all the way through this descent, and then as you start to climb up after you get to the bottom of the descent, it actually diminuendos right there. Now I like to swell right here, so I add a little bit more from where that note was as I play this right here, and then we retardando and get very quiet to pianissimo to the end. Okay, so we're going to play the coda from the side view together with the correct dynamics. Okay, so we're starting on mezzo piano. The pedal is down. 1, 2, 3. You did it! You learned everything that you need to know to master sections 1 and 2 and the coda. Great work and determination getting to this point. Now keep on going. It is time to work on the piece as a whole. Good job and good luck on finishing this out.